Oh, I'm not actually camped here. I just stopped here to take a quick nap. Still got to head off into the forest here. So I left from Eugene pretty early this morning, crossed a pretty big chunk of Oregon, come up into the Ochoco National Forest. Now this is a really large swath of public land that I bypass a lot on my way to other places. I sort of cut through the Ochoco National Forest in 2021, working my way back from Northeast Oregon. That was in the middle of a heat wave, and I was in a bit of a fuel crisis, and I was just really trying to get out of there and get back to Prineville to get some gas and head home. So I didn't really do any exploring at that point. What's interesting about the Ochoco National Forest is that a lot of it is forested, but it's a much more sort of open, sparse forest that you can see through. And there are a lot of like hilltops and mountains that have these open areas, these sort of prairies along the tops of hills. And also down in the valleys, there are these like open grassy areas that the creeks flow through. For some reason, the trees stop, and at the bottoms of these little valleys, you end up with these lush, green, grassy areas. So it's interesting, it's broken up, and the scenery changes, and some of the areas that I went through a few years ago also got into some kind of, rocky, more deserty kind of areas. So it's an interesting mix. There's also just a dizzying array of roads that crisscross this area, and lots of little spurs that go up. I tried to do a little pre-planning for this trip, and there's just so many roads. It's just very difficult to know, well, should I go this way or should I go this way? So I planned a rough route that I'm going to kind of roughly follow to move me out through some areas that look like they might be interesting just from looking at the satellite imagery. Now it's too bad that it's kind of clouded over here. The colors are not popping quite as nice. It's been a sunny summer. Then of course the day I came out here, it clouds over. And I did check the weather. It's not supposed to rain while I'm out here for the next few days, but I do have a few raindrops coming down right now.
When I came through this area a few years ago, I stirred up some wild horses here and there, who were quite shy and eager to get away from me. So this time, I was thrilled to encounter this pair so close to the road. They definitely kept their eyes on me, but they weren't afraid to take a moment to sniff at what some other horse had left on the road. If you watch carefully, you'll see that both of these horses are making their mark, so to speak, by adding to the pile. I've stumbled upon a nice little campsite, though I'll be a long ways from here by this evening.
This has really been an interesting drive along this ridge that I've been following into the forest, out of the forest, across these open areas, back into the forest. Oh, 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 that's a big step. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Anyway, like I was saying, it's been an interesting drive coming into these forests and out of these forests and into these open areas and having these vistas really in both directions on both sides of this ridge. In the forest, the road is just like this soft dirt. It's silty and ashy, but it's also got that organic material from all of the conifer needles, and so it's got this soft, kind of pleasant feel. But then you get out of those open areas and it's very rocky.
The contrast is striking between the lush forest and these rocky, almost desert-like open areas. And the pattern just keeps repeating, into and out of the forest, traversing expansive rocky grassy meadows, then back into the forest, over and over. My Frontier is now an absolute pleasure to drive in this terrain. The new Titan Swap suspension has been soaking up these rough, rutted roads with ease.
I am a little bummed about the weather. It seems like most of my trips into Central Oregon over the past year have been gray and cloudy rather than sunny and colorful like it is over here most of the time. And I don't mind the rain, I can deal with rain. I just wish that there was nicer color, it wasn't so flat. But last time I was up in this national forest, it was over 100 degrees and I was absolutely miserable. So I'm trying to be grateful that it's not hot. I will take this over heat any day. It's about 5:15. I had marked some possible campsites, look like campsites along a little creek. Whether or not there's any water flowing in the creek at this time of year, I have no idea. I'm gonna go down and see if I can find one of these campsites, make camp for the night, and then down sort of in that direction. I've got some possible like historical sites to check out, and that can maybe be part of what I do tomorrow.
Looks like a pretty big fire ripped through here in the past couple of years. I'm driving through a lot of dead trees.
Well, here's one of the campsites, but there is somebody in it. What do you know? It's a nice spot. A little visible from the road. Alright, this spot is available. It's on the creek here. It is also really right on the road. The road is just right there. Oh, and I don't know. Somebody's got some sort of a bathroom spot set up with tarps there. I do have one more spot marked. Maybe we'll go check that out.
Yeah, this is all right. It's a little bit of a walk down to the creek, but it's a really nice stretch of creek. It's a good thing I snagged it when I did, because almost immediately another truck pulling a trailer came up and they were looking, they slowed down. They thought they were going to come into this campsite, and then they realized I was in here and they continued on up. It's Wednesday and I'm accustomed to not running into anybody camping, but I guess it is summer. I got to remember that. Well, I think I'll grab a beverage and take a closer look at the creek down there. completely forgot that when I went camping with Chuck a couple of weeks ago, I discovered that the hose for my Camp Chef stove was leaking right out of the regulator. Completely forgot to look into that at all, and it's just blowing propane right out the back of it. Yeah. It's coming out right there. You can hear that something is kind of loose and rattling inside of there. I do have my little backpacking stove as a backup here, but I've only got one, oh man, almost empty canister of that. Well, I am definitely just going to have to make do. I am too far from any town to make it worth going back to like get more of these canisters. I have some pre-cooked chicken, I have some salami, I have peanut butter, I have crackers and some bread and some cheese. I have stuff that I can get by on, so it'll be okay. I'm gonna try and preserve what's left in here to make coffee. We'll see if I can get 1, maybe 2 mornings of coffee out of it. This fellow is very well camouflaged. He looks just like the bark.
Well, we've got some blue sky this morning. That's nice to see. These translucent red berries are all around my campsite, but I don't know. Do you know what this is? They sure look tasty.
All right, well, with camp all packed up and much more promising weather on the horizon, let's go see what else we can find out here. Stay tuned for the next episode in this series coming soon. Thank you for watching.
In part 2, we'll check out some historical sites along with some stunning backcountry scenery. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode.